In one sentence, could you tell me what you think the proper purpose of government is?
To protect our liberties, our lives, our property. You know, they're there to secure our liberties. That's why we have government, for no other reason. We don't have government to take property from other people and redistribute it.
Peter, I watched with interest the debate last week on TV.
How many people watched that debate? Oh, that's pretty good, because I heard that 10 times as people watch Jeopardy as watch that debate, which is disappointing.
We TiVo Jeopardy. We watched it. Many of your answers were very similar when you had a 2-minute window to speak.
1 minute window.
1 minute, okay. All right, we'll keep to that today as well. Just kidding. One that was strikingly different to me was the views of the 3 candidates on Iraq and Afghanistan. And I'd like you to go, and if you need more than a minute, I know, if I recall, you're not thrilled with us being there. It doesn't matter. We're there in both places right now. How do you envision American activity from this point forward?
Well, I want to try to minimize those mistakes in the future and putting ourselves in a position where we now have to figure out how the best way to withdraw. Because obviously, I mean, there's one school of thought that says, well, let's just withdraw immediately. But that could cause a lot of problems. But I would have assumed never have made the commitment in the first place to now be faced with the situation on what's the best way to leave. So what I want to make sure is we don't make that same mistake with Iran. Because there's a lot of problems now with Iran, and they're developing nuclear weapons. And that certainly is a viable threat that would not, as an American, I am not comfortable with a nuclear Iran. I mean, that's a very scary thought. And so, to the extent that we can stop that, I think it makes sense. But I don't want to stop it the way we went into Iraq when we thought they had weapons of mass destruction. So we have to have a military policy, foreign policy, that protects America from threats, but doesn't, go on invading and occupying and trying to rebuild other nations and getting involved in very difficult parts of the world with undefined missions, and just really putting all kinds of bureaucrats on the ground in there, and it just grows. It has a tendency to get bigger and bigger and more costly. And in many cases, we end up creating more problems in those regions than we solve.
I'm sorry for a follow-up on this, but that's a longer version of what you said on TV. What do you want to do about the problems as you see them? You don't like us being in Iraq or Afghanistan. We're there. What do you see us doing in the future to get out or stay, or what do you want to do about those? Forget Iran, please.
Well, in Iraq and Afghanistan, I mean, I know we went into Afghanistan originally. I mean, we've always had some presence there, but we sent a lot of troops there because we wanted to get Osama bin Laden. And somehow we didn't get him, and now he's not even there. But now we just sent 30,000 more troops. I'm not even sure exactly what our mission is there. I mean, do you know what we're trying to achieve in Afghanistan, and what is our actual goal? What would be, Simmons said we're going to leave when we win. But what is it that we're trying to win? And how do you define the victory? What are we trying to do? Do you know?
I have an opinion, but I'm not running for the U.S. Senate.
No, but I don't know if we're there. I mean, I know that there's terrorists there, but are we just trying to get all the terrorists? I don't know. I know that we're going broke, and we don't have the money to finance all these troops. And in the next few years, if we have a complete financial crisis, we can't supply them. And the whole thing is going to fall apart. So we have to get our act together. I'm not a military strategist or an expert on the best way to withdraw our troops or the best way to get out of Iraq. I'd be willing to listen to people who are in the military, who have experience there, that can tell me, look, this is what the objective is. This is how we can achieve it. Here's our timetable for getting out. I want to get troops out of there as quickly as we possibly can, but I want to do it under the best possible terms. I don't know. No, I'm not privy to intelligence coming out of Iraq. I don't have all that information in front of me, and I don't pretend to be, a military expert on those issues. Right? I would prefer that the United States not get involved in so many foreign affairs. I would prefer a foreign policy that more focused on protecting Americans and American interests and not being involved in so many things. I understand that we're there, right? But, you know, I look at, you know, my candidacy is not based on the fact that I'm, you know, this military strategist and I know exactly what we need to do. I don't know if anybody knows what we need to do. I don't think most congressmen can even tell you what we're doing there. And what the mission really is, and what victory is, and what we're trying to achieve. I don't think anyone in this room actually really knows. But my reason for going there is not because of Iraq or Afghanistan. It's because of Washington. I'm going there because I'm worried about what Washington is doing to this country. I think that's a lot more important. I think we're losing a lot more of our liberties and a lot more of our freedoms from our own hands, not necessarily hands of foreigners.